Welcome everyone. Today we have our conference on business ready, future ready business in a disrupted world. We do discuss on the futuristic issues and technocracy, technopolis, and all of the interesting things. From the conference, different scientists from around the world, from South Asia, from Africa, from Europe, from Asia, USA, they are publishing the research paper with the scientific conference. Our president, Innovative Academic Research Publishers, Dr. Soha Akiki, supporting this research initiative. Also, her university, Paris Graduate Schools, also playing a major roles for this initiative. And we have our world famous speaker from around the world. We have our chief guest, chairman of IBION, Chris Kondo. We have our keynote speaker, Ron Swinson from Solar Skyway, from Silicon Valley and from Stanford alumni. We have Lisa, we have Gary, we have David Smith from IBION, we have Rob Enderle, our longtime friend and innovators, and recently he published his write-up on disrupted world. We have our green family members, Professor Daves. So all of the famous people are joining, and also our conference we are publishing through Port TV USA, Good News USA, Pacific Rim Business Council, Transhumanist Party, as well as B Lab Japan. And through this process, we are engaging with 2.3 million audience around the globe. So hopefully from today's discussions, we can bring many scientific innovations and we understand how the Silicon Valley work and how this academy and industry can contribute more. This is not only dialogue, I believe it's an action dialogues. Right now, I am in Bangladesh, and you know that this Himalaya, this Ganga, this Podda, and Bay of Bengal has 600 million peoples. So we need more technocracy, we need more innovations, and we need more brilliant people like you who can invent new technology, new solutions, and by this global north and global south relationship, we can bring more success. Also, Dr. Soha Hakiki, by born, she is from Lebanon. So Middle East is some point where everybody can contribute with modern science, engineering, and technology. So first, I introduce Dr. Soha Hakiki. She is president of Paris Graduate School, and she is president also Innovative Academic Research Publishers. Dr. Soha.
Hello, good evening or good morning or good afternoon. I don't know where are you on the globe. And here in France, we are late afternoon, so I can say good evening. Yes, Paris Graduate School Innovative Knowledge Institute was created in 2013 because I have been in academia for many years before, and I was a director of an American university here in Paris, which is Schiller University at that time. I don't know if they still exist in Paris now. And I decided to create this small school my way, which means I believe in research. I don't believe in students staying all the time in the classrooms idle. I need to have students who participate. I prefer, and it was my wish when I was a student. I didn't like to be idle in a class. I wanted to be more active, to do something with the professor, which sometimes it wasn't easy, and that's why I created the school in this purpose, for this purpose, to have this kind of students. One of my alumni is Dr. Sharif. He was my student, and I have many more. And a few 2 years ago, I decided to create an academic journal for the school. And we started it because we are forcing the students to publish at least 2 to 3 papers during their curriculum, especially the PhD. And now we decided to be on the Scopus Index, so we wanted more and more high quality research, and we are pushing the students. I don't want them to die, but I will push them very hard to do so. And that's the beginning of a long circle or a long cycle, sorry, of research conferences, at least for the 2026 for now. And of course, will continue for the coming years. So that's the aim of our all together as a team to move forward with all this. And we have so many topics. We have international relations and geopolitics, which is very sexy topic, especially in the Middle East. They love it, the students. They want everybody to be in the PhD geopolitics and international relations. As for other countries, we have naturopathy, we have science, we have quantum physics. We have so, and we have good professors, and we will be needing more professors as for, of course. So that's only the introductory to be able to work with for today's conference. And I can contribute as well for the doing business in this disrupted world, which is really disrupted, where as we all see, it's not easy, but we can still do business. Disrupted or not, when we want to do business, we can do business. So I leave you now for your expertise, and we will be discussing, of course, during our conference. Thank you very much, and we are really proud and honored that you are with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Soha. In the Davos conference, they introduced Elon Musk. So
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Dr. Sharif.
Okay.
Yes.
In the Davos conference, they introduced Elon Musk for all of his futuristic, innovative things. So we are introducing as a futuristics, as a chief guest for this conference, the chairman of IBEON, Chris Kondo, and who is developing Technopolis, engaging with all of the big projects around the world. Mr. Chris Kondo.
Hi, how are you? It's a pleasure to meet everybody. And Sharif, you cut in and out. What was your question? Do you want me to just give a highlight on the business and what we're doing and how it's impacting in the world of data? Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, number one, I want to acknowledge David Smith, who is probably one of the foremost technologists and futurists in the world. And I love David, and David and I have worked together. IBEON is doing three things. What we are is we're upgrading old legacy systems for sovereigns and for multinationals. So right now, our thesis is artificial intelligence without data intelligence is a bankrupt proposition. So you need good data intel to have artificial work to begin with. Number two, when we go into a country, the first strategy is we're upgrading and connecting the old legacy systems, almost like intelligent interoperability, a Palantir 2.0. But the other innovations that David and I and the team have developed are as follows. One, we're doing mini mesh AI data centers. So we're not tapping major energy consumption from the national grid. We've got other ways where we can actually take and mesh together other energy sources and basically trap data at the edge, because the whole goal is creating real-time meaningful data, which is a natural extension of the development and the building of these massive data centers that are very expensive. And I think we're coming into a new age. I think we're in the fourth quarter of that game of these big data centers. The other area where we're focused is what we call a technopolis, which are very advanced smart cities where we're creating more connected, secure communities. And what's interesting is with our company, our thesis is we're creating the world's first government operating system, bringing sovereignty back to the sovereigns. Meaning one of the biggest issues today is these countries now want to maintain, sustain, and retain control of their own data, which obviously bleeds into the strategy of the talk about artificial intelligence and how in this new age with a disrupted global economy and sovereigns that are becoming decentralized, how do you create how do you create still the synergies of a cohesion of and an intelligence and operation, and I think it all has to do with sovereign data governance. And I think that iBeyond is one of the most advanced data engines in the world where we can layer in the sovereign data governance, because I think there has to be measures to control the data, which will then control the AI. So, which involves human involvement as well. But David, if you want to add anything else to this conversation, you're welcome to. I just wanted to introduce to you what iBeyond is doing. We've signed some major deals around the world. We've got Manai Corporation, which is a partner now across the MENA region in India. Manai does 86% of the critical infrastructure and IT for the country of Qatar. We're going to leverage their sales forces. We've got relationships with Crayon, which was just sold to Software One. We're moving into Africa. And we're also doing a lot of work and opening a lot of doors in Singapore, where, I've had meetings with Temasek and some of the major sovereign funds there. And then also down into South America. I think the big play in the future for investors with companies is essentially the global emerging markets. I think that's where the big ROIs are. That's where the big hyperscalers can't stifle innovation like they can in the US. And I think that the leadership of these countries, especially in the MENA region, they have all the money in the world. They can't be paid off. They actually want the best of the best technology. And David Smith, who is probably one of the top systems architects in the world, we've worked together and we've built this system. And now I'm out there and I'm marketing it and selling it to the world. And we've signed billions of dollars of contracts with zero sales and marketing. So that's why we know the demand is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman of iBeyond, Chris Kondo. Now I request our keynote speaker, Mr. Ron Swenson. Mr. Ron, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ron is a keynote speaker for today's session. He is a president
Can't hear
of Solar
Sharif.
Skyway.
I can hear him fine.
I can as well.
I can as well.
Okay, thank you. Ron is a chairman of Solar Skyway and the board member of Swenson family. He is also alumni of Stanford
Can't hear you,
University.
Sharif.
Now I request Mr. Ron.
Ron, I think he was asking you if you can say a few words with your company in Solar Skyways.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. I was able to hear him throughout, so you can hear me okay, everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, welcome, folks from around the world, from morning to night and in between. I come here because I was invited to give folks an overview of something which has been long a passion of mine, something that began in the 1960s that is a longer story, but I'd like to share my screen to give you all an overview of the systems that we're developing. And so I think this is going to do the trick. Can you all see my screen now?
I'm adding
No.
it. Yeah.
Now we can.
It hasn't shown up just yet, but
We can see it now.
Yeah, we could see it.
Oh, okay. So I want to talk about a future ready business in a disrupted world. The system we've developed is some uniquely scalable and safe pathway for sustainable urban mobility. And we've been listening across the board about the advance of automated vehicles, but I want to introduce a new approach. First of all, this is a bold vision for sustainable transportation, and that is one which carries with it, just like a sailboat, its own energy delivered right to the system. Now, underneath this canopy of solar, below you see the cars, there's a unique characteristic of this system, namely that you have an offline station, meaning that when I drive off the line to stop, you as a person interested in keeping on your pathway, you go nonstop from origin to destination. And that's accomplished by a specialized switch, which is not located in the guideway like you have with the train, but it's located in the vehicle. And I'm going to show briefly how that works in due course here. So we have three key principles. One is scalability, one is sustainability that I've already mentioned, and the third is safety. And for me, I hear so many opportunities to develop transportation around the notion of safety when all that is being done is moving and shuffling the deck, but vehicles are still being put in this, what I call the pedestrian strike zone. I'll get into that some more. But back in 2006, I worked with a team in Sweden who was developing this technology, and they came up with this very interesting video showing how the system works. And it was such that you could go out of a building, in other words, have your stations in a building. You could go through a traffic circle just as you would with an automobile. Notice that the vehicles are suspended, which is quite advantageous. I'll talk about that some other time in more detail. But here's the key point, that above the track, we can have a guideway covered by solar panels, which gives us all the energy needed to make the system work. And you see here a couple of drawings. This is a photograph of a system I built in 2010 and demonstrated that this can be accomplished with a graceful and attractive curved surface. This shows what a station works like. At every station, you can have a battery system and charge the vehicles. And what this does is it makes for a resilient system. And that is really critical to what happens in the system. You may have heard recently that Waymo in San Francisco got completely stuck. There was a power outage and everything went in a bad way. We can start with a very small system and begin growing it in this fashion. And here's how that works. I can build a building or have a new facility off to the side of the track. I can put in the pod car guideway system, and then overnight I can pull out a section and bring in a Y section so that there's no disruption of service. Now, one of the critical things is, in order to scale, that has to be economical. And so rather than using whatever budget's available from a national government and so forth, we can actually build a profitable system in this fashion. So instead of getting 20% fare box here in Silicon Valley, our fare box recovery is less than 10%. That means that it's 90% subsidized because it's 95% bad engineering. We'll talk more about that some other time. Now, back to what I was saying a moment ago, the way you can achieve safety is to obey the laws of physics, one of which is the conservation of momentum. And the conservation of momentum says that you can't have a large object moving at speed with small objects nearby, such as children. And I show you this little video that children having a good time with their bicycles going to work and to school. So this is a very different scenario than what we're accustomed to. Now, how does this work? Fail-safe operation requires clamp-on bogies. And I'll just give you a quick example. This is a system in France. And even though this is a rough prototype, it shows directly how a device inside the vehicle is what causes the system to turn and go in different directions. Security can also be met by traveling alone or with friends. And also, to say quickly, this organization, Futran, has devised a way, if you have parallel tracks, that if a vehicle gets stalled out, you can have an exchange between one vehicle to the other. Even wheelchairs can be moved in this fashion. Now, I'm going to move quickly forward and talk about circumstances in Bangladesh. And there's our good friend, Dr. Sharif, and the World Talent and Economy Forum. I want to just use this as a, oops, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I think I hit the wrong button. Just bear with me here. Sorry about this. So anyway, Sharif, I'm going to go out and in again.
Okay.
Just take a moment. I hit the wrong button in the system here. Oh. There we go. We're back on track. Apologize for the delay. Well, so Bangladesh has three unique conditions that I want to consider with you. First of all, as we speak, Bangladesh is an oil importing country. And what that means is, in an economic sense, there's a loss of money coming through the country. There's also a lot of flooding. So we need a system that's import-free, flood-free, and avoids urban cooling, which is caused by extreme heat. So taking this just a little bit further, how can you have a positive balance of trade if you're importing oil all the time and dragging down the economy? And by having these solar canopies, we can power an entire transportation system. And as you've seen here in the previous drawing. Now, as you know, the last couple of years, there have been some extreme floods, not to mention at earlier times. So you've all seen these pictures, so I'm going to move quickly onward to show how a transportation system can be built that is flood tolerant, flood proof even. And you hear the cars up above, and this platform could be adjusted to the level of flooding so that people could come in and actually have this kind of experience. And extreme heat can be mitigated to have shading from above, as you see in this illustration, making it possible for street vendors and other circumstances to prevail. Now, we can get into the question of what happens down the line with opportunities in the Bay of Bengal and so forth. But I want to also take you now to a little side track on what's happening with the United Nations. Policy is what really drives systems forward and advances. And just last month, the United Nations has declared the next 10 years, 26 to 35, as a decade of sustainable transportation. They've got an implementation plan, they've got a roadmap. And so with this in mind and looking at sustainable transportation, I wanted to bring to your attention one more facet of this, which is that in the context of the climate change programs that have been taking place at the COP conference of the parties, having been meeting for over 30 years, only now has it been possible for a group to spin off from the COP process and talk about actually having a fossil-free, non-proliferation treaty. And these island countries primarily, but also Colombia, Pakistan, and Cambodia have chosen to be a part of this initiative. And I'm very encouraged by this. Not only are there countries, but there are 145 cities around the world that have joined this initiative. So if you overlay these two systems together, there are very interesting possibilities going forward. Now, I want to talk just briefly about one other country, which is what's happening right now in India. There's a strong push for this type of transportation, and there's a system that is going to be launched for public viewing next week. And here's roughly what it looks like. This shows a test track which, with a minimum radius at either end, is just long enough to bring the system up to speed so that it can be apparent that the system works at speed and then slows down again. There is the Combined Station Research and Development Center, and this is located in the state of Gujarat, where you may know Prime Minister Modi is from. So there is anticipation of good, strong support, both at the state level and the federal government. Yes? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, super. Now, just a couple more things. I want to show here the progress being made. Here's, you can see the cabin in a test condition. And I'll skip this forward to show you something that I think is really a very close replica of what we described to you at the beginning here. So Putran has designed a system that can be, as you can see below, there's shade in the street for the possibility of street vendors. This can be put along a major thoroughfare, or it could be put into a new environment where automobiles are not even necessary. Now, there you go. So I want to take you back here to the initiative we have right now, which is called Students for Future Mobility. And I have been sponsoring, and a professor, Buff Furman, has been running this program for many years. This is what Sharif saw when he was here in Silicon Valley. We have an international program that we want to expand, and we're offering the opportunity for folks like yourself and people that you know to adapt this curriculum so that we can begin seeing these systems brought into being around the world. And so student engagement has been the key to this system. And we had, as you saw there one summer, when we brought students from many different countries, we had students from Brazil for several summers coming to our program as well. So I'm going to stop there for the moment and just take you back to my ordinary Prime menu and suggest that if there's more time now or later, I can go into many of these other details with you all. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Ron, for your excellent contributions. I think I want to go for this open discussions and open dialogue, which is very important. And we have other speaker and panelists. They can ask questions, and Ron, you can give answer. First, I would like to ask questions in this disrupted world. Mr. Chris Kondo, like at your IBeyond also contributing through developing these smart cities. You see that beside these academic activities in Silicon Valley, in Stanford University, with San Jose State Universities, we are also deploying innovations and real-time projects in India, in Gujarat. So how your innovations can improve the efficiency of the business world, as well as it can help to overcome from this challenging situation of the business world?
Yeah, well, that's
that's a great question. I mean, at the end of the day, we need to use AI to continuously scan supply chains and operations for early signals of disruption and trigger rapid data-driven responses. I think that's key. I think another key is embedded ethical and responsible AI principles, that are built into the AI design and deployment and governance, what we've done with the IBeyond system. I think another thing is to maintain, a strong AI oversight, I think is important, with clear policies and audits and, human review for high impacted decisions. So I think that's something where, David has really done a good job with the IBEON system. By the way, Ron, I think, we could put also our data engine with IBEON and work out a deal with you to make you one of the world's first hyper intelligent train systems as well. Because I think it's in the data capture that it's so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, 100%. I always look to see how we can collaborate because technology is all about collaboration. And I think we need to treat AI as an augmentation of human intelligence. I think that's important, using co-pilots and decision support tools rather than automation. So I still think that we need to keep some human involvement. And also we need to connect AI programs directly and strategically with goals for resilience and customer trust. And measure the performance. I think that's important, and the risk outcomes. So, I think these are, in my mind, if I'm just clearing the noise, the things that we need to do. But we're in an exciting time now, and it's very interesting time. Especially with all the geopolitics, which I'm not going to get into. But but anyway, it's I may have to go shortly. I want to listen to a few of these other amazing people on the phone, because I'm in the midst, and I'm in the fires of building this crazy business. But no, it's amazing. And you know what, Ron, and everyone else on the phone, any way that we can work with you, and Dr. Sharif is amazing. I love his energy. To advance our initiatives, and we could support your initiatives. IBEON's all about that. We're all about making a dollar, making a difference. So social impact to us is something that's paramount as well. I think that by the quality of the people that work with our company, in fact, Lanny Cohen is another great investor with our company. Lanny was the former chairman and CEO of Capgemini, and the former global CTO of Capgemini and global chief innovation officer of Capgemini. He was there for close to 2 decades. He really helped transform the business. Obviously, for people who may not know, which I think you all know, they're the world's largest IT consulting firm in the world. But we just have amazing people who are part of IBEON because they all want to make a dollar and make a difference. And but anyway, Dr. Sharif, I hope, I don't want to go on a rant, but I hope some of those points that I discussed with you earlier are helpful in how we basically shape the resilience and keep the integrity in this new changing world with AI.
Yeah,
You mentioned
just one thing. Yeah,
oh,
Ron,
Chris.
please.
Chris,
Yes.
you mentioned human in augmentation, and that reminds me of Doug Engelbart. Did you happen to know him?
I don't. Actually, David does, because I know it's so funny you mentioned his name. He's brought that up in a prior conversation, but I don't. So
Anyway, I knew him. I was down the hall from him at the Stanford Research Institute in 1968. And
Wow.
he was an amazing guy. And some months later, I think it was in 69, he gave the mother of all demos.
Right.
Have you heard of that? I was there.
Oh my gosh.
It was an unbelievable experience. Everybody in the room, when he finished, just jumped up, and it was like a rock concert you've never heard before. It's just unbelievable how I'd never seen a standing ovation that was just spontaneous and just explosive at the end of a presentation at any technical conference before or since. It was unreal.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, you know what? It's amazing. I know that David, one other person he highlights is George Kosmetsky, who was David's mentor. So it sounds like
right.
one of those type of amazing pioneers who was the founder of Teledyne and Michael Dell's first board member. But anyway, I'm going to go on mute. I'm sorry. Okay.
No worries.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Soha. As you are representing also Lebanon, so how this kind of innovations can help your students and help your community?
Yes, Lebanon will need for sure, but it's not yet completely safe so far. But it will be, and we will be needing many of these technologies, and many, of course, with AI. They started working, people over there, and the students too, and they are really highly qualified, but still they are not 100% they will not go for it right away. It's really very disruptive. It's not like any disruption. It has been disrupted for the past 50 years, Lebanon. It's not only 2 or 3 years. It's very long time. But we will need for sure help about in technology, for sure.
Thank you, Dr. Soha. I have to go for the regular discussions and other things. Mr. Rob, how can business anticipate and adapt to this?
Well, so the entire question is, how can businesses anticipate and adapt to sudden technological, economic, and social disruptions while maintaining competitive advantage? And I'd like to turn the question around a bit, because I don't believe you can maintain competitive advantage unless you adapt to sudden technological, economic, and social disruptions. They're not opposed; they are connected. And in today's world, the real danger, and I'm going back to a lecture I had when I first joined SCIP, and SCIP was the Society of Competitive Intelligence Professionals, and the guy that was training us, who was a senior competitive analyst, went up and drew a chart and an XY chart. And he said, if speed is to the right and right direction is vertical, most people focus on speed and don't focus on direction. And so invariably they go really fast first, which is what we're seeing with the artificial intelligence at the moment. They go really fast first, but they haven't really figured out which direction they want to go in yet. And so very often they find themselves going very fast in the wrong direction. They have to undo a lot of the things that they have done. And so at this particular juncture, if you're going to do this, you really need to focus very heavily on data integrity. You need to be making decisions on real information, not false information. When we call it politics, we call it fake news, but in business, it's just erroneous information, and there's a lot of it out there. And the big danger is confirmation bias, and that's rampant in executive ranks, where people come to a gut level decision and then they use technology to validate that decision. So if you're working with an AI, that means you're prompting for an answer that you've already determined, not prompting for a real answer based on real data. And so at the very start, you really have to focus on making sure that you've got data integrity and data accuracy, because if you don't and you're rolling towards artificial intelligence, then what you're increasingly going to get is erroneous or hallucinated answers to your queries. And as we move to agentic AI, you're going to get agents that do things you don't want them to do and do it at scale, which can be problematic. A lot of the times we're looking at, particularly in today's world, is a rate of change that is to a large extent unsustainable using current methodologies. Our business processes were developed around the idea that we could have months to do analysis. I remember when I first did one of my big analytical programs, it took 6 months to do the research and then another couple months to do the to generate the report. And honestly, by the time we were done, that report was marginally out of date, and that was back in the 80s. Now, if you were to spend that kind of time, it would be way out of date. Things are changing almost on a weekly basis in some markets, which means you not only need accurate information, you need timely information so you can make your pivots. And structures, business structures, can't be rigid anymore. They must be highly flexible. And if you can't do that stuff, you're just building towards obsolescence. And so, as my opening comment, that's it. It's data integrity becomes your key focus, and making sure that you can then orchestrate that data and the various AI engines into creating results that are in line with the strategies that are in place. So we can't go back to Lou Gerstner's idea that vision isn't important, because vision is incredibly important. You need to have an idea of where you're going, or as Yogi Berra says, you're probably not going to get there. And that's my opening comment. Thank
you. Mr. David Smith.
Dr. Sharif, thank you. And Chris, thank you for the kind things you said. This question is very interesting to me because a lot of my life, this has been exactly where I've been focused, is looking at how, as a professional futurist, as a business person, how to look and anticipate the future. I was an executive at a company where we came up with 6 different ways to look at the future and did work with that with over half of the Fortune 100 and designing organizations like In-Q-Tel for the CIA. I ran the Futures program at NSA and other places like that. And we applied those principles. And the problem is today when most businesses try to look at the future, they only use 1 or 2 views. And most of the time they're wrong. And you've got to use a broader view of it, particularly since we're in a time where the world is dominated by systems of systems. Rob, back in the times you were talking about earlier, when we had the times to do that type of research, we were doing more linear research because the world was much simpler then. And you did not have to look at the system of systems impacts, which are really there today. And you've got to have an approach to do it that makes sense to go in there. And we're beginning to see large views of industry and government and academia needing to come together through the Technopolis to do this. Ron, I remember back when I was an executive at Semitech, and I was in Silicon Valley a lot and ended up helping do the roadmap for joint venture Silicon Valley before I led the first semiconductor roadmap, the SEI roadmap. Mm-hmm. And you've got to look more than just the company, the government, and the areas in there, because you cannot compete today with doing that. What made Austin, Texas, where I live, where we is implementing the Technopolis concept here back before we had the technology to even support it. And it's been defining. And, you know, over the decades since I was one of the persons who did that, we've seen it implemented in many places around the world. And now we have the tools to look at from a system of systems viewpoint, which I think is very exciting till we go there. So you have to treat, in answering your question actionably, you have to build a culture of continuous sensing. You've got to monitor technologies. You have to monitor the regulatory, the demographic change. And as Chris mentioned, the geopolitical tensions. So you need to invest in different ways to understand how to not just understand the broader thing, but what are the weak signals. To understand, and gee, I'm getting a lot of echo. Not to understand the directions, including the weak signals, because you want the weak signals to be strong there. You need to design for agility, because you want the weak signals to be strong there.
If you're not speaking, please mute.
Yeah, and you need to treat technology as a strategic accelerator. Many places do not do that. One of the things I learned really well as we were trying to do this is one of my specialties is something called a wicked problem roadmap. And wicked problems are problems that don't have a known solution path. And Rob, it's hard to get beyond short term today, but wicked problems, we go out and look 40, 50 years in the future with the ones I've done across the government and other places. Solution path. And you've got to use the group intelligence. Rob, it's hard to get beyond short term today, but wicked problems, we go out and look for. Well, it's hard to get and look at those areas. So you can look at how to pull the pieces together, but you've got to do it in a way that group intelligence and continuous lifelong learning are a very, very important part of that. And you pull all those together, and you can then, as a business, begin to anticipate and adapt to the changes. And I agree with Ron, if you're not doing that, you're not going to be in business. The world's moving too fast today. And so those are some initial comments.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Now I request Mr. Gary. I think you have your research paper.
Yes, how is everybody doing today? As we've all said, today, tonight, this afternoon, wherever you're located. My name's Gary Abel, and I'm work with a company in Southern California called OmStar. We from the ground we pull up different vegetable esters, and we make a product that's it's a supplement for gas and for the oil. You install the product directly into the gas and directly into your oil, and it works on both sides. And the product that we have will reduce emissions by 70%. It reduces all black smoke, any kind of anything that your car is doing, and our vehicle, our truck, our like large generators, ships. We put anything that is a coal burning product. This product can be used, and it can be used in both the gas and the oil. What it does when you put it in the oil, it attaches to all the internal parts in the engine, and it makes it run smoother, run easier, run faster, quicker startups, easier running. And when you put it in the gas, it cleans the fuel system, which is all your injectors and the fuel lines and everything else. This product has almost instant success. You put it in within 2 or 3 tankfuls of fuel that you're burning through. You see the maintenance. If it's a vehicle, the miles per gallon goes up, miles per liter goes up. You do less oil changes because the oil doesn't break down as much as it does when you don't have the product in there. The engines last longer. Some of these the big construction companies in them, you don't have so much capex. It cuts back because you don't have to buy vehicles as much as you used to. I'm an old Pepsi guy, and our theory was you buy 10% of your fleet every year to keep it up to where it runs well and it does well. Well, that can be cut in half to 5%. The product is we have it all over Africa. It's in South Africa. It's we mill it or dredge it, or however you want to say it, out of the ground. We do it here. We have a blender here in Southern California, and we have another blender in Singapore. We opened that blender up about 8 months ago. So our product, if we go to an area where they need a lot of the product, we can always go to that area and produce it and blend it in that area. The perfect scenario for us is if a country like Bangladesh ships in all of their fuel, if they would mandate it and have it where this product has to go in 100% of the oil that goes into the country and 100% of the fuel that goes in the country, within a year, you would see massive drops in the emissions in the air. It's a product. We've been around for 30 years. The man that owns it, he worked for Disney, and he sat on the product forever. I've come in about a year and a half ago, and we're in South America, we're in Europe, we're in Africa, and we're working now in Bangladesh. We're working with Dr. Sharif on that and trying to get some products over there. The product, it's a simple product. I have white papers where companies all over the world have done tests with the product. So we have our website is www.omstardx1.com. And you can go in there and see all the white papers, anything we need, and you can get in touch with me. You can find my email address and everything in that website. And it's a product that has instant results for people that's going over from fossil fuel products. This is for coal. We have a spray that you put it over the coal. The coal immediately, when it goes into the burner, the black smoke coming out of the stack will turn to white once it has cycled through the burner. We also have another product where when these refineries have the last of the diesel product, which is bunker fuel, they call it. You put our product in there, and it raises it back up to a level that it can be a premium diesel. So we've been working on this. It's an excellent product. It's the only non-toxic product in the world. You can drink the product. We've had this a couple of countries that don't allow any kind of fuel additives or gas additives at all. Well, our product has been authorized to go in because it's a non-toxic vegetable ester is what we make the product out of, and it's I mean, I think it's the best in the world, and I don't understand why a lot of people don't go after it more than it has. So the product is available now. It's available, like I say, anybody in the world. You can contact us, contact me, and we can talk to you about it, go through everything. We have programs available. We have shipbuilding programs available. We have the Army, any of the armed services. We have some products there that helps them out and helps some things there. And that's about it. So thank you, Dr. Sharif.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just sharing our.
Sharif, yes, please. Could you share the website?
Yeah.
Please. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Dr. Sohab, if you want to add some point about these innovative academic research publishers.
Yes, we do publish books. We do publish articles as well. And of course, we can publish, if someone can write about the product, about future product, future technology, we are really very keen in accepting this, because we are a publishing company as well, which is linked to the school, but we are really open to any kind of scientific literature and social science articles and books.
Yeah, thank you. Ron, there is a question from audience for you, specifically from Dan. Dan is our friend and colleague. What is the maximum grade angle the Skyway can handle?
Good question.
Ron, can you hear me? Ron, can you hear me?
Yeah, now you can hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
There is a question from audience. Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. Dan, thanks for your question. First of all, what you're asking about the incline angle is really a design problem within the framework, the broader framework, which is our goal is to go nonstop from origin to destination. So if you want to extend this concept, it could be implemented in a vertical elevator, which would be that the elevator would have more than one car in a given column. And as you got to your floor, your vehicle, the cabin in the elevator would pull out from the main column, and then other vehicles could go on by. So in principle, if you apply this design thinking, you could do that extreme. Within the framework we're operating right now, we're primarily focused on fairly modest angles, let's say maybe twice what an automobile could do. But even at this point, we're not building to that application, but the tools are there, because if you look at that version that's put forward by Futran there in India, what they have is they have there's a flange at the bottom of this cross section. You have a cross section like so. The wheels are on that, but there is also an auxiliary bogie, the wheel set, that squeezes it from below. So if you have something coming from above and pressure from below, you can actually increase beyond what could be accomplished just with gravity alone. So another way of saying it is we're not gravity limited and gravity and friction, but we can apply pressure from an upper and a lower bogie to increase that grade substantially. And again, every application is different. In mining applications, we've looked at this for substantial angles of movement, and even to the point where we could design a system that is, let's say there's a mine high up, on the way down, the ore could be producing a gravitational impulse that would be stored, and then on the way back, it could be done for nothing, as it were. No additional energy. Be stored, and then on the way back, it could be done for, as it were.
Yeah. Dr. Soha, can you hear me?
Be stored, and then on the way back, it could be done for.
Dr. Soha, can you hear me?
On YouTube, I can't hear the online. No, I am listening to YouTube now. YouTube, I can't hear the online. No, I am listening to YouTube now.
That's where the echo's coming from.
Okay. Dr. Soha, actually, we can hear you. We can hear you clearly. So there is another question from the audience for Ron. This is an excellent presentation and highlighting how design is the foundation of all projects and the key element for planning solution aligned with local needs. Ron, the last question from audience.
Yes. So we are very deeply immersed in design philosophy. And it's key from our point of view that a process is put in place every time we take on a project. And so I gave us something of an example of that when looking at the unique conditions of places around the world where there's a lot of flooding or anticipating sea level rise, whatever that may be. And so by incorporating that local condition into our design, one thing for sure is that the electrical and the control system elements would always be put high up in the design, so in the system that we built. So in other words, you've got a vertical column to begin with, and because of that, not only would you have the vehicles running above ground in this fashion, but you could bring up everything in the system and effectively have it above that grade. So, and a moment ago, I was talking about the angle of inclination necessary. These are not insurmountable problems. They are design problems. And what I explain to people generally when it comes to how do you design around these complex issues, the main thing I say is that you have to start exploring, and I use the window here, you go out to the boundaries of what's possible in your design process. And what happens sometimes is you discover that you can break through what you thought was a limitation. So you don't get that if you start out and you just say, okay, the first idea I came up with, that's the whole story. But as you gain input from the community, and especially, you establish what the parameters, what the limits are, and then you poke around a little bit in your design mechanisms to see if there's an opening that you can go beyond. And often the real winning proposition is to be able to go out beyond that envelope and discover new possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Dr. Soha, you want to add any point? Can you hear me? Dr. Soha? Can you hear me?
No, I don't hear you. I don't hear you. I'm listening to YouTube, but can you hear me at least? No, I don't. Okay, so thank you very much. It was really very, very, very interesting, and would like to have more future discussions with this high quality. Really, I'm very, very, very happy.
Thank you.
I don't hear you. Don't talk to. Let me put back the YouTube. Hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. We will invite you all. Even we can collaborate with Stanford University Design Centers, with San Jose State Universities, with Ron Swinson, and we can enhance Paris Graduate School's students' future knowledge and all of the expertise. Professor Rob, my next question for you. What strategy should companies adopt to leverage AI, IoT, and other emerging technology to become more resilient and future?
Well, the first
So-
strategy is to really assure that you have AI competence at the top. This is not a time to do what is typically done, where you hire some type of an expert, you create a competency around them, and you offload that all the responsibility to the person that has that competency. A chief AI executive is certainly handy, but the thing is that knowledge cannot remain with that executive. Same problem we had with risk managers back in the day. You can't put all the responsibility for what will be an organizational change into one person. They won't have the authority, and they won't have the depth of understanding of the company itself in order to be successful. This AI competency has to roll up to the top. And the other thing you've got to be aware of is we just don't have the time to train people using conventional methods. This idea you can put somebody in school for 2, 4, or 8 years and get degrees is fast becoming obsolete. We have to create systems where people are constantly retrained, where training is part of their weekly, monthly requirements to stay current. So I think education itself is going to have to evolve to be less of a place you go and get degrees and more of a place where you collaborate and get certifications, because the speed, at least right now, and I don't think it's going to slow down, is just well beyond what a typical educational institute can handle. By the time you finish even a 2-year course, there's a good chance the job you're working for may no longer exist or may no longer require the skills that you've been trained in. It's just moving that fast. And so restructuring so that training agility is part of the overall culture is going to be difficult, but it's a requirement. And here's a case where small companies, which are often at a disadvantage, particularly emerging companies, are actually have an advantage because they don't have a lot of the existing technology ecosystem that they've got to now rip out and replace. Large enterprises are kind of screwed at the moment for that very reason. They've got systems that go back to the COBOL days, and it's going to be incredibly hard to transition those systems. They're going to have to be yanked out and largely replaced. We used to call them forklift upgrades, but back in the day. But that's what we're talking about. Is you just can't update systems, old systems quickly enough to comply with the current requirements. I was looking at a recent announcement today on Office 365, and Microsoft is suddenly disabling a long list of capabilities, and companies that have integrated Office into their infrastructure are going to have now a nightmare of decoupling Office from all those things. And honestly, I think now if you're tied to any type of productivity suite, you need to get rid of those requirements, those ties, because those suites are going to become obsolete and largely be replaced by AI engines. Currently Google's at the head of the list of this, but honestly, when you've got a technology wave like this, picking winners and losers becomes almost impossible because the changes are happening so very rapidly. So the focus has to be on agility, on making sure that you have AI competence that goes to the top of the company. They don't have to be experts in AI, but they have to understand how to prompt. They have to understand the strengths and weaknesses of the technology, and they have to take a measured approach to making sure not only are they getting the data that they need, but they're validating that data and assuring that it is accurate. Otherwise, as we move to agentic AI and deploy it aggressively, a lot of those automated decisions are going to be made in error. And looking at particular classes of businesses, for instance, the businesses that have call centers, right now they are on a fast path to obsolescence unless they can convert that competency into AI orchestration and have the people that are trained up and are experts are now, instead of having lots of people working for them, they're able to train up and deploy AI at scale and have the AIs handle the call center duties. And what's kind of funny to me is IBM over a decade ago demonstrated this risk when they deployed Watson before Watson Jr. Watson in a sales for insurance, and suddenly discovered that the AI was outperforming human sales reps. I think it was a factor of 3 to 1 in terms of close rates. And the really interesting side story was that some of the male participants in the study who didn't know they were participating were constantly trying to ask the AIs out And that was back on old Watson. The current generation of AI is far harder to separate from human operators. So agility is key, and constant retraining with competence rolling towards the top is how these companies can assure their future.
Thank you. Professor David Smith, my next question for you. How can business integrate environment, social, and government principle into their core strategy to ensure long-term sustainability in a validated market?
Sorry, Dr. Shreve, but thank you for this question. I mean, as you're beginning to look at it, the sustainability is one which has ebbed and flowed over the last couple of decades and is necessary for where we're going. But as we've talked before, particularly sustainability is something that is not something that as a single company or a single country you can do. Because as I look at environmental impacts and everything, they cross borders, company borders, national borders, and others. So what you need to do is you need to treat ESG as a strategic imperative, not just a compliance exercise. Yes, you're having increasing regulatory pressure, investor expectations of putting the ESG standards there. But you need to go ahead and look at it as a strategic concession. You also need to revisit your strategy formation and how you put it together. And many companies treat ESG as a after-the-fact add-on. You really need to go back and see where ESG works with your core business strategy and your core product and manufacturing fit. And really, where I've seen ESG implemented well, you use it also as a risk mitigation and for resilience around your international growth strategy, because it becomes a little bit of a way to help manage your risk and manage uncertainty as you go through there. And as Chris had said earlier about making a dollar, making a difference, what you have to do is look at how social responsibility fits into you as you begin to build trust, as you begin to build talent. And how do you communicate what you're doing, transparency? So really, if I want to try to summarize this, in the volatile world, we really are in a volatile world. ESG is not a cost, it's part of the compass. It's part of the strategic views we have going together. And it should lead the company towards resiliency. The transparency should build trust and long-term value. And if you can take and move this together with what you're doing from a strategic and product and cultural impact, because people are your greatest strategic asset, that will help you come together to be successful, Dr. Shreve. So that's my answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Gary, my next question for you. In the world of constant disruptions, what skill and organizational structure are essential for developing a future-ready workforce? Gary?
Yes. I feel with AI coming in, AI will help the small business as we spoke about a little while ago. But you still need, in a business, you still need somebody to take control. You still need somebody to keep track of what you're doing. You still need somebody to go out and talk to people humanly and do that. So you do still need a workforce and a certain amount of people in a business. I don't think it will ever go to complete 100% AI. So you're going to always need structure. You will always need somebody that the buck stops here, so to say. and we need to take AI and use like I think NGOs, I think nonprofits here in America. AI is perfect for them. AI can write up a great program for them. AI can put all the right high points in order and do what needs to be done and be able to present a good program. But still, even in an NGO or a nonprofit, you still need people there to make sure that any monies that come through is spent in the right order. You need somebody to document that spending. You need somebody to do progress reports on, from where the project started, what was the points of the project to be. You need somebody that's going to track that. You need somebody that if it's going in the wrong direction, that can take it and sit down with people and talk to people and talk to clients and talk to investors or any part of the business. I don't think that will ever go. And I feel that we will always need that, and for future business and forever. Don't ever give up your people. Don't ever give up your good people. Keep them there. Even if you have somebody that's really has been good and you're going to switch to AI, don't get rid of that person. Replace them in another position in the company, because good people are hard to find. And once you get good people and you get a good system together, keep those people, treat them right, treat them with respect, and you'll always be ready for any future business that comes along. And AI can just be there to assist you and to enhance what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. We are doing research through innovative academic research publishers, and we published through peer review process. We have many professors, including Dr. Soha Hakiki, Mr. David Smith, Rob Enderle, and Gary and Ron Swinsons, and all of the famous people from around the world. They are also part of this peer review process. And I want to give thanks to all of the professors of Paris Graduate School, those who support our initiative for this peer review process. So we write a scientific book on technocracies, and we do research last 6 to 7 years on AGI, and also in the World Talent Economic Forums. We do go for podcast and scientific conference on collective superintelligence. So here is the summary on AGI, what we get from our research. This presentation explores artificial intelligence and its potential impact on the future of work, focusing on job transformation and new opportunities. That's why we bring industrial people like Mr. Rob Enderle, Mr. David Smith, Mr. Ron, Mr. Gary, Mr. Chris Kondo, and also we bring academician like Dr. Soha Hakiki, and I am also part of this academy, because industry and academy can invent all of the new technologies, and they can help to transfer this AGI and technocracy. This artificial general intelligence, what is happening right now, IBM and all of the big companies actually contributing. So artificial general intelligence refer to highlight autonomous system that outperform humans at the most economically viable work. Unlike narrow AI, AGI possesses the ability to reason, learn, and adapt across a multitude of tasks and domain, mirroring human cognitive abilities. What is the key difference between AGI and AI? When we take class to our PhD level students, they always ask us. So from our research, we identify, and from our conference, from our dialogue, case study, we identify from the industry, while traditional AI is designed for specific task, narrow AI, AGI encompasses a broader knowledge base and the ability to perform a wide range of activities autonomously. AGI can reason, understand complex concepts, and adapt knowledge to solve novel problems. Unlikely narrow AI, which relies on predefining algorithm. Current state of AGI research, what we are doing, also we are publishing research paper and book on technocracy. AGI research is in its nascent stage, focus on developing systems with human-linked cognitive abilities, major advancement including improved neural network, natural language process, and the machine learning algorithm that aims to mimic human thinking and reasoning processing. However, true AGI remain a hypothetical concept with significant challenges such as ensure safety, reliability, and the ability to learn and understand context as human do. So this is many interesting moment. So that's why always I discusses about this talent economy, because many of the people losing their jobs. So we have to train our people. You know, in Asia Pacific, there are a lot of youth. Even in South Asia, there are a lot of youth. That's why we do focus on Himalaya, Ganga, Podda, and Bay of Bengal. What? 1/10 of the global population is here. 600 million people is here, and from there around 57% youth. So in this challenging moment, we are observing the potential for the job autonomous through AGI is substantial, with the prediction that many manual and routine job will see significantly reduced. AGI capabilities may lead to autonomous of tasks in sectors such as manufacturing, service, transportation, which could enhance productivity but also lead to workforce displacement in certain roles. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for preparing for the future labor market and so on. That's why this Paris Graduate School, World Talent Economic Forum institution, we are initiated also the other partners like IBION, like this Swinson family. We can uplift our youth community through modern science, engineering, and technologies, and we can train through our AI and so on. As AGI Technopolis evolve, new job roles will emerge that require a combination of technical, cognitive, and interpersonal skill. That's why universities need to be modernized. They need to engage with industry. They have to understand what the industry needs. That's why we bring all of the industrial people from Silicon Valley, from North America, and from around the world. So professional focus on AI maintenance, ethics, and oversight will become crucial. Additionally, workers will need to continuously adapt, upskill, emphasize digital literacy, critical thinking, emotional intelligence to thrive in the new landscapes. Ethical consideration is the most important part, because we are inventing a lot of technology. Deploying AGI raise significant ethical concern, including issue of bias, accountability, privacy, and security. Ensuring that AGI systems are transparent and operate under ethical guidance is essential to prevent misuse and unintended consequences. So in the concluding part, talent economy is something, we have a lot of talent, but we need ecosystem. That's why this 7 years before, I built this online platform, World Talent Economic Forum, where all of the experts, all of the brilliant people from global North and global South, like today's conference, can work together, can contribute together, can share your knowledge and expertise. And I'm very impressed how we get the positive growth, how we see the grassroots level community, they're getting involved. So I request you all, those who join today's conference as an audience, as a speaker, please engage with this ecosystem, engage with this academy and industry relationship. And by this way, we can improve and we can go for the real technocracy and so on. In our case study, we bring the case study of Singapore, case study of South Korea, and also in some point in India, where we observe this technocracy is happening. So the advancement of AGI promise is to reshape the landscape of work, presenting both opportunity and challenge as we navigate the journey, understanding its impact, preparing the workforce, and addressing the ethical concern are vital for harnessing AGI potential and so on. Thank you for our presentations, and I request all of our audience, please submit more peer review research paper with us. We have our very good teams, those who can go for peer review process, those who are interested to join in our PhD program. You can join in the PhD program. We can ensure this industry and academic relationship can help to improve your careers. I think that is the commitment we get from Paris Graduate School, from Ron Swinson, from David Smith, from Rob, from Gary's, and all of the famous people, those who joined today's sessions. And I directly want to go for the concluding remarks for today's sessions. And thank you for joining today's session, Mr. Ron. What's your closing remarks for today's sessions? And thank you for joining as a keynote speaker, Ron.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, everyone, to participate. I just want to encourage people to be skeptical when we talk about AI, for example, consider what happens in an engineering firm when somebody designs structural members in a building. The most important person, equal to the designer, is the checker, the person who does the scrutiny at the tail end. In the solar car racing community, we call it scrutineering. Engineering and scrutiny go hand in hand. So as we look at all of the stories about transportation innovation, if we're looking at two objects in the same plane, and this is an automated something or another, and this is a human, that's not a solution. So we have to put our transportation systems and our people systems separated, either above or below. Below is more expensive, but there may be times. So I encourage folks who are contemplating a variety of systems, always have a checker on your team, someone who checks the results and makes sure that things are done in a way that they can be remedied if there's any questions or any challenges.
Thank you. Dr. Soha, what's your closing remarks?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank you personally, everybody, for this really high quality discussion tonight. And I do agree that if we have human beings, employees of a good quality, they are assets for the company and we should keep them. We shouldn't always rely on artificial intelligence, that's for sure. We need to keep artificial intelligence as a help to help the human beings, not to take the place of a human being. That's very important. And of course, we will carry on with this good quality, high quality research. And this is only a beginning with the journal, but we will have from now on, in partnership with the WTE, if I'm not mistaken, because Dr. Sharif is also a part of Paris Graduate School. He's working with me, and of course, in partnership with his company, we will carry on to continue with this kind of discussions, with research, high quality research, papers, and publications. So, and I will be really very honored and pleased to be that you will be part of the team with us. Thank you very much and have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Rob, what's your closing remarks for today's session?
Well, let's do it this way. I believe the future doesn't belong to AI, or it shouldn't belong to AI, but sadly, that's the path that we're on. That we don't want this concept of AI replacing people, but if you look at folks like Elon Musk, that's clearly what he's advocating, and I think it's going to be problematic. The future certainly isn't going to belong just to humans anymore, though. Where the future is going to belong is a partnership between the two. And for the companies that can master, and educational institutions that can master this idea of an AI partnership, where the AI is a partner, it enhances the human, it doesn't displace them. That I think is going to be the path to success. If you don't do this, then your competitors are undoubtedly going to own the market that comes out of this. And by the way, it's problematic either way at the moment. If you're too involved in preserving the status quo, you're going to lose. And if you're too aggressive on AI and getting rid of humans, I believe you're going to lose as well. It's providing the combination balance is the best path forward for both society and technology. And I'd encourage you all to watch an old Twilight Zone episode, The Brain Center at Whipple's. I think it really drives home the point that excessive automation is problematic. It's an old episode, but it's worth watching, and I'll leave you there.
Thank you, Mr. David Smith. What's your closing remarks for today?
Well, Dr. Sharif, thank you for an excellent program again. And this really highlights with what everyone said, that today really is a time where we live in a system of systems. And I believe that what's coming after our age of data, which enables artificial intelligence, the next big thing is going to be speed of innovation. And speed of innovation is going to be what determines the future winners and losers, is my personal opinion. And as we look at this in a closing type of remark, you know, we stand really on the edge of a very unprecedented technology, economic, education, social change, where I'm going back to something I was taught decades ago. The future will not be rewarded to those who wait, but will reward it not to those who take the fastest action, but to those who prepare. And those organizations that prepare will be the ones that sense the disruption early. They do their scanning surveillance. They adapt with a purpose. They look at collaboration. They look at education. They look at human capital. And then they lead with courage. And it's going to take courage today, because we have to really understand what is the capabilities of our learning, of how we're evolving, and how we strengthen our organization. And in today's time, all the partners working with us so that we can meet the challenges. And, you know, we have to understand that we need to be bold enough to rethink what's possible, but disciplined enough to turn those visions into action that can have an impact on the world. And Dr. Sharif, that's my closing remarks.
Thank you. Mr. Gary, what's your closing remarks for today?
Well, one thing is we do have a product out. There is a product that can help lower emissions and can make life easier for people's lungs and noses and everything. And it's a product that we can get out there that has immediate impact on the world. And it's just who wants to get behind it and how in depth you want to get behind it. So I'd like to that's there. I'll put my email address and my website for you guys to look at. And then the second is the AI. One thing that I just, I'm from the old school of, you try something, you fail at it, you try it again, you fail at it, you try it again and you succeed. You know, a human mind grows when it does that. And I'm afraid that the AI side is too many young people when it comes time to do the term papers, when it comes time to do the research, that they research it through AI and just get the answers, because I think growth in a mind and growth of a young mind growing up and being a great and a smart and intelligent person later in life is trial and error through life, what you've been through, how your life has been. And I feel that we have to keep our kids and keep the youth going through trial and error, make them open up a book, make them research, make them look for something. And all along, as you're researching and you're trying to find the solution, you're learning other things on the way there. And it's just good, where AI will not do that. AI is too easy. Me, I'm 70 years old. I've gone through a lot of trial and errors. So for me, AI, I'm loving it. So it's working well for me. It's helping me out on a few situations, and it knows a heck of a lot more than I do. And thank you, everybody. I've enjoyed this program. Thank you, Dr. Sharif. You have a great program going and great for the future of humans all over the world. And I appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You will be happy that tomorrow the SCITRI, all of the Paris Graduate School, all of the academics, they not only observe our show, they also deploys our discussions, our dialogues in the classroom. That is the beauty. University Grant Commissions, top level of the government like BIDA, like the Prime Minister Office, University Grant Commissions, like ICT Ministry, like largest corporations from Global South, hundreds of millions of peoples around this South Asia, they are engaging with this kind of dialogues in real times. So beside these dialogues, we also go to the public, we meet with the peoples. So that's why this time we do focus. We need more scientists, more capable people, more educated people, and trained people. That's why we do focus on PhD program with Paris Graduate School and these scientific innovations. So thank you all for joining today's sessions. So that is the beauty of talent economy. That is the beauty of innovative academic researchers. We bring all of the global talented people in the same platform. I request all of our audience, those who are observing today's shows, to this conference, please share our content with the government agency, corporations, academia, and invite all of the brilliant people in the teams. They can join in the PhD program. They can do research with us. They can build the new technology, new startup, and with all of the brilliant people from Silicon Valley, from North America. So that is the way we can improve and we can go for. We do not need war. We do not need global tensions. We do not need to invest in all of the politics and everything. Humanity is much more important, and knowledge is the most important part for human development. Through Paris Graduate School, through innovative academic research publishers, through World Talent Economic Forum and all of your initiative, we can change hundreds of millions of people's lives. Thank you all for joining today's session. Thank you. Bye-bye and take care.